the resistance, to the March for Our Lives people, just to people who are getting awakened into this political process now, those kind of people, they are not going to break it down. And this is going to be one of the big questions that everyone has after a rally. It's like, how do they carry this in? Are they going to march into the voting booth, as they say? And I think really that these people are. There is, obviously they haven't been tested yet. Some of them maybe not even old enough to vote, although a lot of the people speaking there were. They're 18 or going to be 18 by November. And they know this is what they have to do. They're not making any ifs, ands, or buts about it. They set up stages. They set up places to go and register to vote. There was people, as I was walking today, that had signs that said, register to vote here, get ready, and affect change in November, because that's the only way we're really going to help. Protesting, it'll make our voices heard, sure, but in the grand scheme of things, nothing will really come of it unless we really decide to push forward. And if we really decide to push forward and really conquer, and we're about to play MLK's granddaughter's speech in a moment, so that'll be pretty cool. Then we will get gun laws changed. Voting is what's going to change it. Protesting is great. It gets your voices heard, but you have to register to vote at these protests, and there was some significant registering of voters there, apparently, which is very nice and very important, obviously. But in the end, that will only matter if we come out and, as David Hogg says, make our midterm election rate of turnout higher. Here is Yolanda Renee King at the March for Our Lives rally against gun violence. I think she was 9. She's very, very young. This is her brief speech.
My grandfather had a dream that his 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that enough is enough. And that this should be a gun-free world. Period. Will you please repeat these words after me? Spread the word. Have you heard? All across the nation. We are going to be a great generation. Now I'd like you to say it like you really, really mean it. Spread the word. Have you heard? All across the nation. We are going to be a great generation. Now I'd like you to say it like you really, really mean it, and the whole entire world can hear you. Spread the word. Have you heard? All across the nation. We are going to be a great generation. Now give yourselves a hand.
That is
Hey, NBC News viewers,
MLK's.
thanks for-
Okay, shut up, Lester Holt. That is MLK's daughter taken to the streets, or granddaughter taken to the streets for some civil disobedience, just like her grandfather. Some pretty cool stuff there, no doubt about that. All right, so here is Sarah Chadwick. She had a speech. She had a very strong speech, and this
Every
was
patient that we treat.
her. So this was her on this speech at the National Mall. We'll play some more. Coming up next, though, we'll tell you the speech that everyone's talking about. This is Emma Gonzalez's speech. That was really, truly quite impactful. Everyone was really talking about this. So this is how it started right here. We'll play that for you next. But first, here's Sarah Chadwick.
When you take 3,140,167, the number of students enrolled in Florida schools, and divide it by 3,303,355, the amount of money Marco Rubio has received from the National Rifle Association. It comes out to $1.05. Is that all we're worth to these politicians? $1.05? Was $17.85 all it cost you that day, Mr. Rubio? Well, I say one life is worth more than all the guns in America. This is not a red versus blue issue. This is a morals issue. And to the politicians that believe that their right to own a gun comes before our lives, get ready to get voted out by us, the future. We will not allow a price to be put upon our lives. We will no longer be hunted down and treated like prey by politicians who simply just don't care about us. We are fighting. We have been fighting. We've been fighting since Columbine, since Sandy Hook, since Pulse, since Las Vegas. And we will continue to fight until we put a stop to gun violence in America. Because we are no longer a statistic in this country. We will not be treated like a statistic in this country. My school, Pulse, every other mass shooting will no longer be a statistic because we're going to put an end to those statistics and we will never stop fighting. Thank you.
All right, so that is Sarah Chadwick. Very, very effective framing on that point. Again, really portraying how these politicians come at these issues with how much money they do receive from the NRA, and that is such a major problem in our political discourse, and one of the main reasons why the NRA has such an enveloping, all-encompassing, ubiquitous grip. They're everywhere. When it comes to guns, in gun conversation in America, they are everywhere. Did you know that they regulated the CDC from even researching this issue? They want this out. They want this stopped. And a bill in Florida recently stopped that and allowed the CDC to research this issue, but it's not nationwide yet. That's one of the main things that needs to happen. But that is another one of the main goals of the Parkland students, really raising awareness. And it's one of the main successes as well as the part of the Parkland students is raising awareness at how the NRA has come at this and how they influence the politicians in our gun debate today, and how the politicians they need to make sure that they listen to us. They need to make sure they listen to our voices and really make change. Or, as she said, be voted out, because this is the part. This is the part where the only real part where we can be effective. We are in a country where we can have a say in who we elect. And sure, they'll do everything they possibly can to dilute our power as American voters, American citizens. But that does not mean we still cannot try and attempt to make our voices heard. And when we make our voices heard and we succeed and we put our people in there, our people who can fix many of the issues that were related to and affected by gun violence, as well as gun violence, the issue itself, mental health, other things like that, gun violence, background checks, bump stocks, all the surrounding things, assault weapons ban, they can put those issues, set those issues to right, and set a bunch of issues that that Republicans have cropped up, such as voter suppression laws, gerrymandering, etc. Those will make us more fair as a democracy. They'll make us better, and that is why, along with all the other reasons that these students are talking about, it is so important ahead of the polls in November 6th, 2018, and really, as she says, and as everyone has been saying, everyone's been chanting it, and they've been saying it loud and true, vote them out. All right, so here's the speech everyone's talking about now. This is Emma Gonzalez, the shaved head girl, Emma Gonzalez, the Stoneman Douglas student.
6 minutes and about 20 seconds. In a little over 6 minutes, 17 of our friends were taken from us, 15 were injured, and everyone, absolutely everyone, in the Douglas community was forever altered. Everyone who is there understands. Everyone who has been touched by the cold grip of gun violence understands. For us, Long, tearful, chaotic hours in the scorching afternoon sun were spent not knowing. No one understood the extent of what had happened. No one could believe that there were bodies in that building waiting to be identified for over a day. No one knew that the people who were missing had stopped breathing long before any of us had even known that a code red had been called. No one could comprehend the devastating aftermath or how far this would reach or where this would go. For those who still can't comprehend because they refuse to, I'll tell you where it went. Right into the ground, 6 feet deep. 6 minutes and 20 seconds with an AR-15, and my friend Carmen would never complain to me about piano practice. Aaron Feist would never call Kira Miss Sunshine. Alex Schachter would never walk into school with his brother Ryan. Scott Beagle would never joke around with Cameron at camp. Helen Ramsey would never hang out after school with Max. Gina Montalto would never wave to her friend Liam at lunch. Joaquin Oliver would never play basketball with Sam or Dylan. Elena Petty would never. Kara Lugren would never. Chris Hickson would never. Luke Hoyer would never. Marquine Duque Aguiano would never. Peter Wang would never. Alyssa Al-Hadaf would never. Jamie Guttenberg would never. Meadow Pollock would never.
All right, so as you are listening to this on an audio podcast, I'll explain to you what's happening here. She's staring directly into the camera, silently, breathing deep, etc., as you can imagine. And this does go on for the 2nd minute of the speech, the 3rd minute of the speech, and some chants do eventually begin to break out. All this time, she is still silent. By minute 5, she's still silent. People in the crowd are cheering her on. And by the beginning of minute 6, she's ready to speak again.
Since the time that I came out here, it has been 6 minutes and 20 seconds. The shooter has ceased shooting and will soon abandon his rifle, blend in with the students as they escape, and walk free for an hour before arrest. Fight for your lives before it's someone else's job.
An amazing speech, obviously, to a standing ovation from the crowd on the mall, and boy, I mean, watching that, it just gets you every time. It's a wow speech. It really is. That is what it is. It is a wow speech where you're just like, holy mother of you know what. I mean, yeah, it is. It's really beyond words that we have people who can speak for us today that speak that this is a better speech. I mean, the guy who talked about arming teachers, he gave his better speech than like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi ever could. I mean, they're good speakers, they're fine speakers, they're politicians, but when you really have the passion coming directly from the heart, that's when you know that's how you know someone's serious and passionate about the issue, when they speak like the people did in Parkland. The Parkland students did today, anyway, in D.C. That is how you know someone is that passionate about the issues. It was clear, it was obvious, and it was incredible to watch today, coming from Emma Gonzalez, David Hogg, Sam Fuentes, Ryan Deitch, all those people, all those speeches we just played. I mean, I'm sure you were far more entertained listening to them than listening to me, because they know they have been through this struggle, and they have